Okay, so question 2, number B, they say that we must do what? We must simplify this following expression, and we must also leave it in a what? In a rectangular form. So the expression is Z is equals to 8 at an angle of pi over 6 multiply by 3 at an angle of pi over 3, all divided by 6 all over or with an angle of pi over 4. Okay, so remember, we must simplify first, and then we must do what? We must convert back to a rectangular form. So remember, I told you that if ever you have the angle as decrease, you must make sure that your calculator is working in decrease. So if they give you your angle that has a pi, just know that your angle is actually in radians. So you must make sure your calculator is in radians. But if you don't know how to make your calculator to be in radians, you can do what? You can first convert this angle from radians and put it in degrees and work your problem from there. So I'm just going to do it in those two methods. So firstly, I'm just going to answer it the same way as it is. Because it's given in radians, I will simplify it the same way as it is. So what you do is that you do what? If you are multiplying polar forms, you do what? You multiply the coefficients and you add the angles. So it's going to be 8 multiplied by 3, 8 multiplied by 3, which is going to be 24. And now you must do what? You must add the angle. So it's going to be pi over 6 plus pi over 3. So it's going to give us what? Pi over 2. Okay, and then what is the bottom will remain as 6 pi over 4. Okay, so you do the very same thing. When you divide what? When you divide the polar form, you divide the coefficients and then you subtract what? The angle. So it's going to be 24, 24, 24 divided by 6, which will give us 4. And then on the angles is going to be what? It's going to be pi over 2 minus pi over 4. So it will give us what? It will be pi over 4. Okay. Remember, this is what? This is our simplified Z, but is in what? Is in polar form. And it has an angle in radians. So remember, I said if ever you are working with radians, it's still okay. But make sure that your calculator is in radians. Okay, so now we have what? We have the resultant and we have the angle. We want to convert our Z into a rectangular form. So we'll say what? For the real part is going to be what? The resultant cos of theta, and for the imaginary part we'll say is plus the resultant and sine of theta. Okay, so our resultant is how much? Is 4, and our angle in radians is what? Is pi over 4. And then now you say plus j, and then it's 4, and then sine of what? In radians is still pi over 4. Okay, so now when you put your thing in your calculator, just make sure you say shift mode, and then you click 4, so that you make sure that your angle is in radians, and then you can write anything like that. It's going to be 4 cos of shift pi all over 4, and then you get your answer as 2 square root 2. And then you do the very same thing for sine. Is 4 sine of pi over 4, which is going to give us how much? Which is also going to give us a plus 2 square root 2, but it's going to be j. Remember, there's j there. Okay, so now this will be your final answer converted to a rectangular form. Okay, so now let's say, for example, you don't know how to convert your calculator from radians to degrees. So you can just simply say, let me just erase everything here, because you already have the answer. Okay, so what you have to do, if ever you want to convert your radians to degrees, you must do what? You must multiply your radian. Let me just do it down here. So if inside this angle here, we have pi over 6. So if we want to convert it to degrees, we will say what? We will say pi over 6 multiplied by what? 180 over pi. Okay, so when you say that, when you put it into your calculator, it's going to be 180 divided by 6, which will give us the degrees, which is going to be 30 degrees. So we know now this angle here of pi over 6 in radians is actually equivalent to 30 degrees. Okay, you also do the same for pi over 3. So for pi over 3, you will also multiply it with 180 over pi, and then it will give us the answer of what is going to be 180 divided by 3, which gives us 60 degrees. And then you do this for pi over 4. Pi over 4, that means it's going to be what? 180 divided by 4. So 180 divided by 4, it gives us 45 degrees. So what you can simply do, you can do what? You can convert the angles first, and then you write your new expression to say now you have 8 at an angle of how much? Remember, it's going to be 30 here. Pi over 6 is 30 multiplied by 3. Pi over 3 is going to be how much? 60 degrees. All divided by what? By 6 pi over 4, which is how much? Which is 45. And then when you are here, you can just simplify, and you don't have to convert your calculator to radians. So you will say what? You will do the same thing to say now 8 multiplied by 3, it will give us 24. And then now the angle is going to be 30 plus 60, which is going to be 90 degrees. And then divided by how much? Divided by 6 at an angle of 45 degrees. So the Z will be how much? 24 divided by 6 is going to be 4. And 90 minus 45 is going to be 45 degrees. Okay, so now when you are here, remember, you are no longer putting what? You are not longer putting your angle as pi over 4. You just put it as degrees because your calculator is in degrees. Remember, this will be your simplified answer, but you want to convert it to what? To a rectangular form. So in place of your angle here, you will put it as it is in degrees, which is going to be how much? Which is going to be 45. But you make sure that your calculator is in what? Is in degrees. So when you put that into your calculator, it will definitely give you the same answer. So it's going to be 4 cos of 45. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. It will give you 2 square root 2. And then you do sine. It will also give you